Hello and welcome once again as we continue this amazing conversation with Mr. Jogendra Singh. Ladies and gentlemen, this is part two of the interview. I hope you've enjoyed the first part. And with that, we shall now continue our conversation. I would want to thank you for those inputs and take one step ahead and speak about the recipe that you just touched upon and the ingredients therein. And data is one such vital component that you are dealing with, whether it is financial data, whether it is data that is related to the employees. And there are a lot of issues around data, which is being generated at almost every step in the entire process and in huge volumes. So when we speak about data, the one important thing that comes to our mind is security. And touching upon security, as a critical component of business strategy, how do you think finance professionals are utilizing their existing skills or skilling up, so to say, to contribute towards protecting their organization's IT networks?
A very, very important aspect of the function. So first thing, looking at the data. So I've seen a lot of people, saying data is the new oil, and I say, no. Data is not the new oil. Oil is basically nothing but a commodity, which you buy and sell. Data is and must not be seen as a commodity, must not be seen as the new oil. But I would say data is an asset. Data is an asset that can create more value for you. Unfortunately, the kind of accounting standard that we have, we don't show that asset on the balance sheet, and that's how this gets hidden from our sight. But today, if you look at the valuation of companies all around the world, the new unicorns and startups, the entire valuation is coming out of the data. And how are they utilizing that data? How are they putting that data to use? How are they utilizing that asset? So you have to really understand that data is an asset. And when data is an asset, it has to be protected very, very closely. And today, the kind of connectedness that we have in the world, while it gives you a lot of opportunities like platform kind of business models, it also creates huge amount of risks, right? And you have cross-cutting technologies, multiple industry tags are there, and there are some niche tags as well. You have robos, cobos, RPAs, edge computing, quantum computing, applied AI, all kinds of and then and that's why probably today you're talking about blockchain as the trust architecture. And I mean we are here to really see many applications of blockchain apart from the cryptocurrency, etc. But as we speak, there are multiple applications on blockchain which are already going on. So what we have to really see is that we look at security in a very holistic way. It's not just about cybersecurity is not just about managing risks. You have to truly see this as a strategic issue, because it is not only looking at your networks, it also is protecting your data. So it is giving you the very essence of your existence. So therefore, you have to really look at it in a very, very strategic way. Apart from the looking at effectiveness and customer relationship. So you have to look at not only cyber security but cyber resilience, and as we say, because it is absolutely an existential question. So you look at the inside threat, the human element of the insider risk that you have. You look at not only a passive defense but an active defense of how you can respond to minimize the risk of an event, because these events will keep coming. If you really look at the kind of cyber attacks which were there in last few years, they had truly rocketed, and they will keep going up only because there is huge amount of connectivity which is there. So in one of these studies, they talked about for every one person there were 4 connected machines, 38 billion connected machines, and this was 2019 number. So the number would definitely go up. So therefore, you have to have a very critical resilience so that you can adopt infrastructure, you can adapt in a way so that you can repel these kind of cyber threats. And for that, of course, you will have to look at developing skills within your team. You will have to truly change this approach and see it again this as not an IT question but a business question. So that's absolutely something which will be very important.
That's beautifully put together, and yes, it is more of a business question than an IT question. I would totally agree with you. And we've seen the business trends evolve over a period of time. Among the business trends, we've seen sustainability emerging as one vital component. It's become one of the key concerns for many organizations, so to speak. And while this is a rising remit in accounting and finance, we also have come across environmental, social, and governance codes that drive financial performance for a business, so to say. What, according to you, is a recipe or a strategy that finance leaders are adopting to advance sustainability and ESG within their organizations?
So, Kanchi, I go back maybe, I don't know whether 10,000 years or a million years or 100,000 years, and I quote you something from Yajurved. It talked about Mata Bhumihi Putro Aham Prithivyaha. Earth is my mother and I am her son, right? I go back about 550 plus years when Guru Nanak, said, Pavan Guru Pani Pita Mata Dharat Mahat. Very clear, easy to understand that air is my guru and water is my, like my father, and earth is like my mother. That's the environmental part of the ESG. I talk about social part of the ESG. Again, go back to our scriptures and they talk about Sangachadhvam, Samvadadhvam, Samvo Manansa Janatam. So which means everybody come together, speak together, think in a similar way, so that we help each other. So that's the social message. You go back to Chanakya on the governance part. So the G of the ESG. And he talked about 16% tax. He said, Balishad Bhagam Udhratya, Drapasya Rakshataha Praja. So this is something, we have been, it's in our DNA in a way. However, we have forgotten about it. We, in our quest for profit, quick profit, we forgot about those very important messages that should have been with us for centuries. You cannot keep people, profit, and planet separately. So these are not mutually exclusive ideas. These are completely inclusive ideas. You'll have to keep profit, planet, and people together. And that's what is the essence of ESG. ESG, you cannot really think in terms of, either you just tick box, kind of an approach. It is something that has to be truly adopted. There was a McKinsey report, and apart from that McKinsey report, there was one report which was released just yesterday, which is CRISIL Sustainability Report 2022. And that report also talked about a very strong correlation between transparency, ESG, diversity, and value creation. So again, I say, if you're not there, then what do you do with this, business? So you have, and there is a lot of question in the minds of people whether ESG is an expense. Does it really create any value? And this is where it almost about 800 odd companies reports, that this CRISIL sustainability report gives, talks about this correlation, a very strong correlation between value creation and ESG diversity and transparency. Apart from that, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India also last year came up with what they call BRSR, so Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report. This was to be mandated from the current financial year, that is 2022-23. However, there were a lot of companies which adopted that even last year. So study after study have shown that the purpose and ESG are not distractions. They are key to our long-term performance. You have to truly find purpose and go with it. So the role of CFOs in this will have to be first understanding in their own mindset that people, profit, and planet are not mutually exclusive. And if they understand, they start looking at ESG as a very essential part of our strategic effort and strategic initiative. And a lot of reports have shown the valuation of companies with higher purpose, with ESG, their multiples are 3% to 19% higher than the median performances. So we'll have to go beyond the tick boxing approach, what we call the authentic ESG. You truly adopt that. And this will, in my view, give you a competitive advantage for the businesses. And CFOs will have to understand, businesses will have to truly understand this.
That's beautiful and scintillating, and opens so many doors and so many avenues for one to think about. That yes, it's the entire principle of ESG has been built into our DNA from years ago, ages ago. It's just how we carry it forward. That's the legacy part of it. So thank you very much, Mr. Singh. I love doing this interview with you. Thank you once again for spending time with us and sharing your insights.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for this interaction. I think this is very important questions to be deliberated upon all of us today. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you very much, Mr. Singh. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the conversation that we've just had. I for sure have enjoyed this conversation. This was very insightful, and I feel enriched speaking to Mr. Singh. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we'd request you to please stay tuned to all the interviews and exclusive conversations that we will have across the Exo Digital Pulse. Also, do sign up for our newsletter to keep updates on what's happening and what do we have in store for you. Ladies and gentlemen, you can also subscribe to our handles across different social media channels to keep getting these updates. Thank you very much, and do subscribe to Exo Digital Pulse.